Good morning, folks. This is Mr. Dan coming to you from the landscape design classroom, and today we're going to talk about controlling home garden pests. Our main idea here, how can I manage my home garden to reduce losses from weeds, insects, diseases, and animals? So if we take a look at this picture here, we have weeds and damaged leaves from various amount of things here. So we have some weeds up here in the top of this picture, down here, and then we have some damage on the leaves from probably some different types of insects or diseases. So we're going to take a look at a little bit about these today. So sudden, a surprise. Plants dying, damaged, or missing due to disease, insects, or wild animals. The common rabbit here, down here on the bottom right, is a definitely destroyer of gardens, just trying to get some food for itself, but there's definitely some ways we can keep those out. So if you have lush weed growth, that can also be an issue as well. So let's talk about insect pests. So insects can be maggots, beetles, worms, aphids, thrips, and leafhoppers. I'll let you guys read through this portion here to see what kind of stuff they attack. And then you can also access this PowerPoint via your Canvas, the same exact page that you hit the link to check out this video. So insect control management, clean up garden refuge and turn the soil. Carefully time planting and harvesting, select resistant varieties, stake plants, and use insecticides as a last resort. So I typically like to try and do everything I can before I put any sort of pesticide, insecticide, herbicide, anything on like that, because once you do that, especially if you're working with vegetables, you don't know what you're typically putting into your food. So make sure you follow these steps here, and we will go over these a little bit more in class, in person, with some hands-on activity. So slug and snail pests, problem in wet seasons and wet areas. Control methods include remove hiding places, trap using beer as bait with your parents' permission, control with pellets or poison sprays. And you can also, instead of using something like beer, you could also use something with some form of alcohol in there, because typically snails and slugs are pretty, or really understand or really have a liking towards different varieties of alcohols. So using a mouthwash, you could also use that. So bird and animal pests, rabbits, ground squirrels, striped gophers, raccoons, deer, birds, everything we deal with up here in Pennsylvania. Talk about some different control methods here. For rabbits, you want to have low chicken wire fence, traps for squirrels, electric fence for deer, depending on how extreme it is, you can go into this. And I would definitely recommend doing your own research into like what method of protection you want to use for your garden. Avoid plant diseases, selecting plant varieties developed to resist or tolerate disease, thoroughly cleaning up, spading, plowing in the fall, not introducing diseased plants, and reducing plant stress with a healthy soil pH, organic matter, and nutrients. So one of the major things you can do here in your garden is not plant the same exact thing year after year after year. Turning those crops, putting in something different each year will add nutrients back into the soil, which overall will help prevent plant diseases. Our fungicide treatments for potatoes and tomatoes, weekly spraying for leaf spot and late blight, removing diseased leaves. And then for beets, cabbage, a bunch of other stuff here, you want to apply fungicides to soil, seed, or foliage following label instructions. So as I always say, follow the label. If you don't follow the label, then there's a chance you could possibly injure yourself, injure the plant, or even in the worst case, could be death. So as always, read the label. Some weed control, start early to prevent establishment, work the top inch of the soil, keep weeds from growing to seed, use mulches, and apply chemicals only as necessary and observe label instructions. Like I always say, I cannot stress label reading enough, and applying that over to your application onto your plants. Our bottom line here, insects, animals, plant diseases, and weeds are all pests which damage your home garden. Understanding which pests are at risk in your area can help you take action to prevent and reduce problems. And just overall, whenever you're treating anything, I know I just said it like 10 million times, but reading that label is probably the most important thing you can do, not only for the plant safety, but for your own and others around you. So that is the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, give me a call down here in the landscape design classroom. But I appreciate your time, folks, and have a great day.